Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here on this Monday morning. Everybody getting up to get a big week started out and work and play and recreation and doing things with your family. And we're getting ready to get in some cooler weather. And the weather is brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. High today, 84. I don't want to scare you. 84, low 74. So we got a little 10-degree difference. The water temperature right around 85 degrees. Our Monday moon forecast, last night was a new moon. So our full moon in September is coming in on the 22nd. The 22nd will be the full moon. So we're about to start the waxing phases. So that's going to be important. It's going to be a good situation in fly fishing with the moon right there. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Today is Monday, September the 10th. We got decent tides today, and decent tomorrow. Really, we don't have neap tides this week. Just looking at the chart, we have some low tides. So hopefully the wind will have a factor in it, but it's not going to be any big strong tides like we had last week. And the marine forecast is southwest at about 8. I got tickled at the weather the other day. I was talking to my good buddy Marion Smith, and I see him every Sunday morning. And Marion is a consummate outdoorsman. I'd rank him in the top 98th percentile as far as catching fish with anybody. He's retired from Arizona Chemical, and he's been fishing his whole life around here. Got Howard Creek, Choctawhatchee River, and he loves to go, during the week like a lot of us retirees like to go. And he was telling me the other day, he said, people talk about, he said, we can't figure out this weather. He said, I'm going to start calling all these people talk about fake news. I'm going to start calling this fake weather because I can't get it. And I got tickled at it because it is so unpredictable. Last past 3 or 4 weeks, we just had storm after storm, and you really cannot predict where they're coming from. And they were just popping up really strong. And we were talking about that, how strong these winds are, how strong the lightning has been. So just be aware of that. And I know our meteorologists do the very best they can, but some things you just cannot predict. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's get started with some pictures and all. I always like to pick out some funny ones. I think they're funny, but here's some flip-flops. I'm gonna buy these for Gail for her next birthday. I think she would enjoy these. Okay, so keep that in mind for the special person in your life, if they enjoy fishing. Okay, we talked about the Elizabeth Bardolph tournament coming up. Sunjammers is helping out immensely this year. Folks, they're giving away a 2018 Hobie Outback. The suggested price on those things, this is loaded now, $2,500. And you can buy a raffle ticket. They're $10 a piece, or you can buy 5 for $40. That's a really good deal, okay? And the drawing will be held November the 3rd in 2018. Winner need not be present. And I don't know if they're going to limit these or not. Let's see. I don't know if they're going to limit them or not. But anyway, that's a really good deal. I'm definitely going to buy some tickets there. So keep that in mind. Okay, here's my buddy Randy Burling. He's carrying on the family tradition. He took my youngest grandson Wesley to C&G Sporting Goods. I love this picture for numerous reasons. Randy's a friend of mine for a long time. He's with his grandson, and then he's down there at C&G. And look at that. We talk about it being like a museum. There's museums that don't have mounted animals, that big and that awesome looking. So when I tell you folks to come in from out of town and all, to just go down there and visit and just walk around and look at that place. It is one of a kind sporting goods store, an amazing place. So good to see you, Randy. Okay, here, look, a permit was caught last week. That was Jermaine Sweat. He sent this in to Panama City Fishing. And you can tell that's a permit by the big wide body. And this was before the storms came in and before it got all churned up. Good one there. I thought this was funny. It's just a joke, but everyone steals my trolling motor mount idea. We're fighting. But check this out. This is a good idea. He's got it attached to the ice chest. And I don't, somehow, which I was trying to figure out last night if that does not lower the coldness in the ice chest. But anyway, this way it's attached, and then you got, of course, the wood up there. But that's one way to put a trolling motor on a kayak. I thought that was interesting. I love those little homemade ideas like that. Randy Adams sent this up in Holmes County. 18 big snake with 18 babies. And like I say, you don't kill just for the sake of killing, but if something is close to, or something like this is close to your house and kids and animals and all, it would be best to dispense of them. Randy Adams there. Tyler and Kay's been really catching some nice fish. They've been doing some wade fishing. That's a scamp. This is bay fishing. It's not offshore. Right here in St. Andrew Bay. Some scamp and some nice fish. Okay, we're going to talk about that later. Okay, I want to say a good morning to the members of the Panama City Lions Club. They had me over last week as down at the Yacht Club as a guest speaker, and I really enjoyed their company. And of course, I always enjoy the food and fellowship and good folks in all these civic clubs throughout America and here in the Panhandle. All these civic clubs, all they do is just good things and try to help people, and I always commend them and all that. And it'll be a good point in time to bring this up. I would be glad to give talks to your particular group. I do basically 3 basic talks. One, I do a faith-based motivational talk, and that's my favorite one to give. I hate to say favorite. It's just one of my 3 favorites. But it's all these talks are 20, 30 minutes, and of course I didn't give that to the Lions Club. The number 2 talk I've given more of this talk than any of them. Been the talk on our history and heritage on full box and different things that happen here in the coastal maritime area. And then the 3rd talk, I've just started doing this, and I've done several talks on it, is on Panhandle Outdoors, on our show here, how it got started and how we do things, and people are very interested in that. So I can help you 3 different ways if you want me to talk to your group and all. And I just enjoy meeting people, seeing people, and talking to people, and it's something I really enjoy doing. So touch base with me, and like I say, the one on full box, I've had more responses to that as far as people buying the book and all from it. But the one on the motivational, the faith-based motivational, I think I've reached people more on that. And of course, the one on Panhandle Outdoors, we're just starting it. I'm doing it a few times, but it's all been good. So just keep that in mind too. And speaking of our maritime history and all, last Thursday, no, maybe last Wednesday, I rode over to Fort Walton Beach with Bob Hurst and Bob Daffin and Bob Hurst's wife, and we met with a group of about 25 of us, people from along the coastal Panhandle and also up in Jackson County and other areas, all Panhandle stuff, and the Florida Archaeological Consortium, that's a mouthful, they're trying to put together a maritime heritage trail. And it's in the works. They've got some money to do it, and they're just trying to get feedback from all the participating folks and all. So that's going to be really interesting, where they just recognize the different areas that has a rich maritime heritage. And we've talked about this for how long? Since the book has been out. They're beginning to recognize it at the higher levels now, and it can become a tourist attraction as far as people. People just love to come and see where the old boats were and where the old captains lived, and do different things like that. And I met there's a lady and a young guy was giving the presentation. Of course, they have a doctoral degree in history and different things, and sharp individuals. And I was talking to a young man, and he was saying the Gulf Coast area around Mississippi has already done this. And he made a remark, we have a lot richer history too in this area. We just have been behind, we just hadn't got it started, so they're going to help us get it started. And I'm definitely going to put my 2 cents worth as far as the knowledge I have, and I presented them with one of my books and all, and you would think I'd have given them a new Chevrolet truck or something, but they were so excited about it. So they work at the University of West Florida over in Pensacola. So anyway, just something to throw out at you about, when we talk about this stuff, it is real, and it is becoming more appreciated by the folks. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We're into September and all. Actually, a third of the way through September, and while I wrote down some September top 10 things to do, I was thinking about it's going to get away from us before we get everything done. But I did write down 10 things to do in September, and if you have to, you can go and extend these same activities on in October. I may have sort of just done a fall list, but I put this for September. Number one, the reason I put September, I put in there, go ahead and if you're going to scallop, go ahead and do it this month. It's going to run all the way through September. It's amazing how the longest it's ever ran is this year. So scallop is one of the things on there. Number two, you want to start thinking about cast netting for mullet. That fall run will be getting underway. They're what we call old timers call rowing up. The eggs are getting big, and it's going to be go ahead and start getting your cast net out. Number three, camp at Torrio State Park. It's just, in fact, I read that from a state park memo. That's the first park they put on the list as far as fall foliage would be Torrio State Park because of the different heights and all. And I was thinking about it, the change of colors in the leaves will probably be later this year. Usually they'll change, if it's been a dry summer, those leaves change early in the early fall. But as much rain as we've had, they may change a little bit later. So you may want to be looking at October also for getting up there to Torrio State Park and hiking some of those trails, and just a great state park to relax at. Also, number four, pull peanuts. If you got a friend like we do that has a peanut field, they'll definitely let you go pull some peanuts. Pull them out of the ground and shake them and all that. We're gonna. This is the time of year to do that. Of course, the ground is too wet right now to really get much done. So hopefully it'll dry up a little bit more this week, and another week or two you can pull some peanuts. I would suggest, I've tried to do this with my grandkids, and I've done it a time or two, but try to take them out there and show them the process of it. I guarantee you 95% of young people have never seen anything like that done, probably 99%, where you actually get them out of the ground and shake them and go through the process. In fact, maybe next time I go, I may take my camera and show y'all, because that's a great feed and for animals. In fact, I was talking to a good friend of mine the other night at a volleyball game, and he was saying, well, the bears have found mine. And it was a mom and two cubs that found his peanuts. And he said they come in every night and just dig them up what they want. They just, but he said he's got plenty of them. So, all right, number five, fly fishing up in the creeks and the sloughs, off the Ocklawackney, off the Choctawhatchee, all these sloughs and all. We're getting some of our last hatches of all kind of little flies and all. And it's going to be really good fly fishing this month. Number six, dove season opens September 22nd. Hopefully you have a place to go and dove shoot. If not, there's some dove clubs, and also the FWC has some areas in Florida. I don't think there are many around here in the Panhandle, but there's some places you can go and shoot some dove. That's early. Number seven, pier fishing. The water's cooling down some. Also, the air temperature is going to be cooling down, so pier fishing is going to really start picking up in September. It's been okay in August, but really starts picking up in September. Number eight, flounder. Check your flounder gig. Get ready to start floundering. In fact, you should. I'm going to start floundering in September. So go ahead and make sure your light's working and your trolling motor is working, and go ahead and make a couple of practice runs. And I'm telling you, I'm seeing more and more of this, and we did it a long time ago, and then hardly anybody does this, but now it's starting to pick up, and that is walking along the shoreline, walking and flounder gigging. It's becoming more and more popular, especially the last 3 or 4 years. I really noticed picking up. I've done it. The reason for the picking up, because you get these small batteries and put them on a belt pack, and you can wade, and those lights are lightweight now. It's not like those heavy stuff we used to have, and it's just like walking, knee-deep water, and all kind of places you can go. And one guy that I know, he says at times he'll walk 10 miles at night in different areas, 10 miles of flounder. He gets a bunch of flounder. But I don't know if I'd walk 10 miles, but it's something to do. And also you can do that in the Gulf. If you get a good north wind coming in, it'll be calm in the Gulf. So keep that in mind. Just because you don't have a boat don't mean you cannot go flounder gigging. Number 9 would be a food plot. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it more. Start thinking about your food plots at different areas. You don't want a huge area. If you got just a small amount of land, you just want certain areas where they can get to. Make sure you have your tree stand in the right position wind-wise. And number 10, chase reds. The redfish are really moving around this time of year, and it's really sight fishing. It'd be good. Speaking of flounder poles and floundering, I'm going to show a couple of bamboo shaft right here. A lot of guys and girls like the bamboo pole, and I don't particularly care for them. I'm not saying I've just never felt. I always felt the ones I had were just too limber for me, and I was afraid to be getting away and all. But here's a bamboo one here, and they sell a bunch of them. And here's some here commercially, and this is how you attach your head, and this is how it's attached. And you can go online, and I don't know if C&G has any or not, but you can get them. And you, like I say, you can attach them on yourself. It's fun just putting all your stuff together. And here's the ultimate result. Now here's a guy walking right here. See what I'm talking about? You can see his body a little bit to the right. He's holding the light in one hand, and he's gigged. Can y'all see the flounder right there at the bottom? He's gigged. And see, that's you can tell right there. He's on the beach doing that. So this is what I was just talking about. You can get a small rig, a small battery, and do some serious fall fishing like that. So whether it's a bamboo pole, the advantage of a bamboo pole is that it's very lightweight compared to the heavy oak and all. But if you can hold it both hands, if you're in a boat and all, it's never been a problem. I can sort of prop it up. But if you're wading and all, a bamboo pole might be an ideal situation. So just something to keep that in mind. All right, let's take our final break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Glad you're with us today. Listen, we're looking at fishing game time for today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers, 1:12 a.m. to 3:12. That's this morning, of course, and then after lunch, 1:38 to 3:38. I sort of flipped on it from last week. If you remember, it was right after the high tide last week was a good time. So now it's right after lunch. So keep that in mind. He's doing things. Good friend of mine, Scott Lindsay, he's always calling me and giving me suggestions on the show. And I appreciate it because he used to do this show, and remember way back in Red Holland days, he was Red's #1 go-to guy. He was on there a lot. We got a lot of comments about people really enjoyed it when Scott got on there, but Scott has vast knowledge in outdoors. He suggested the other day, he said, Winston, why don't you have like a fish of the month? I said, well, that's a good idea. It'd be like book of the month or flavor of the month or whatever. So I said, that's a good idea. He said, well, make sure you do it right now and tell people about it. I said, I'll do that. So we're going to do our first fish of the month and go through a couple of months of this, and then in wintertime we'll slow down on fish of the month and pick it back up next spring. And I got to think about it. I chuckled. It came to me automatically. Our first fish of the month that we're going to honor is going to be, guess what? The mullet. The mullet. And you just can't help but to feel strong about the mullet, okay? And I've looked up a lot. I know a lot about the mullet, but caught a lot of them and all, and a lot about them. And this is my FWC side here, the striped mullet and the black mullet. And I just wanted, there's a couple of ways to catch them. You can catch them with your cast net right here, okay? And you can, the size, age, look this up now. The lifespan, this is interesting on the lifespan. It could be anywhere from 4 to 16 years. I thought that what a huge amount of time that is. But they have documented cases where they've got a 16-year-old mullet. Can you believe that? And at about 3 years of age, they'll start maturing, and then some little scientific data. But they grow about 1.5 to 2.5 inches a year, and a lot of growth rates on the Gulf Coast increase from west to east. Okay, so that's a little FWC fact there. And this is what we call the roe, or the red roe, and also the white roe, and the yellow is a golden look, but the old timers call it a red roe, and that's what a lot of folks. That's basically what caviar is in the sturgeon. It's the same thing, and that is very people really love that fried, and not necessarily white as much as the red, but that's really good stuff. There are all kind of interesting mullet facts. I'll come back. One of them I thought they can get the body is covered with large scales, which makes it easy. All kind of facts about it. It's just on and on and on. And I won't read you all those. And this is why now if you don't want to go catch them, you can go to the fish market, and they're going to be stacked up just like this at the fish market on ice. And you want to get them fresh too, okay? You don't want to wait 3 or 4 days. Like I said, the cast net is the best way to get them. And here's a picture of them swimming. That's a silver mullet there, and they use it a lot for bait. A lot of the guys use them for bait. And now they're healthy for you. One of the things in cooking them, almost everyone loves them fried. This time of year, we were at a restaurant the other day, and they were specialty. We got some fresh mullet in, they'll actually run out. These places will run out of mullet. They put it on the marquee. They got fresh mullet, or you can smoke them. That's one of my favorite ways. And when you smoke them, you just want to butterfly them and keep the scales on, and just butterfly them. And you put your seasoning, some basic seasoning on them, and you put your charcoal on. I get some just hickory wood chips. I soak those hickory wood chips. I soak them in water, just get them wet and all. And then once I get ready to put them on, the charcoal is really hot. You put a lot of charcoal on because you want the heat to be prolonged. And then I just throw a handful of the hickory chips, and all kind of ways you can do the wood. A lot of people put green wood and all that, but I found it a lot more easier to just get those little wood chips. You can buy a little bag of them, and my dad would roll over in the grave. He knew I was buying hickory, but it's just so easy to buy the little chips of hickory and throw them in there, and that's where you get a smoke. And it really, and then you go in on I put them on, a lot of times I do it on a Saturday. I got about a couple of hours I can do it where I'm doing other stuff, and I'll go throw some more on about maybe 3 to 4 times during the process of cooking, and that smoke just keeps going, and that's how you smoke the mullet. And they are really, really good, and they will last several days or on into the week in the refrigerator, and you can put them in the microwave, warm them up, but it has this special, distinct taste. So the mullet in the fall is a go-to fish along the Florida Panhandle, and a lot of these folks, a lot of families live strong eating those mullet and all. So I always got a kick out of being around those old timers. The cat would starve to death when they finished eating the mullet because there wasn't anything left. So anyway, we get a chance to fry them up real fresh or smoke them. That's 2 ways to do it. And you can get them with cast net, or you go down to Tarpon Dock Seafood and get them. We're gonna wrap things up. We got a big week, all kinds of things going on this week, and hopefully we'll have a better week as far as the weather and maybe more outdoor activities. You just saw something good today for your fellow man. You have a great day. Enjoy our beautiful God-given outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.